Steelers Nation, what's going on? As always, our team is working hard to improve and perfect every aspect of the game, and as fans, we know how much that matters, especially in a year like this, where the quarterback question looms larger than ever. Before we jump into today's hot-button story involving Aaron Rodgers, Terry Bradshaw, and a possible culture clash in Pittsburgh, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us grow the community and bring you more exclusive takes from inside Steelers country. Now let's get into this heated debate, and trust me, this is one you'll want to watch all the way through. OTAs kicked off this week across the NFL, and the Steelers took the field in Latrobe, helmets on, ready to work. But one very big name was missing: Aaron Rodgers. That's right, Rodgers still hasn't signed with Pittsburgh. Despite weeks of rumors, teases, and subtle media nudges, the 41-year-old QB remains unsigned. And for now, our quarterback room consists of Mason Rudolph, back for a second shot, Skylar Thompson, who has 1 TD and 3 INTs in his career, and rookie Will Howard, a 6th-round pick with potential, but no real NFL experience. Let's be real, that QB lineup doesn't exactly inspire Super Bowl dreams. So what's the holdup? And more importantly, should the Steelers even be entertaining this Rodgers idea? Well, if you ask Steelers legend Terry Bradshaw, the answer is a resounding no. In an interview this week, Bradshaw didn't mince words when asked about the Rodgers situation. That's a joke. What are you going to do? Bring him in for 1 year? Are you kidding me? That guy needs to stay in California. Go somewhere and chew on bark and whisper to the gods out there. Ouch. Bradshaw made it clear. He sees this entire pursuit of Rodgers as a waste of time, a distraction, and completely out of step with what the Steelers are about, and he's not alone. Mike Florio, host of Pro Football Talk, echoed Bradshaw's concerns. He called the idea of Rodgers in Pittsburgh a culture clash waiting to happen. Florio said, "You don't have a lot of bark chewers in Pittsburgh. This isn't the way people are here. It unlocks the floodgates of Steelers fans who are like, right on, we don't want this guy." Think about that. From Cam Hayward saying you either want to be a Steeler or you don't, to Bradshaw calling him a distraction, there's a growing group of voices who believe Rodgers just doesn't fit the DNA of this city. Pittsburgh is tough. Blue collar? No nonsense. Rodgers? He's California cool, philosophical, unpredictable, and often outside the box. Is that a deal breaker? Not everyone agrees. Stephen A. Smith went on First Take this week and basically laughed off the Bradshaw criticism. His response? The Steelers' quarterback room is an absolute joke. It's been a while since the Steelers have had a quarterback, so Aaron Rodgers is going to be an upgrade no matter how you slice it. Stephen A. acknowledged Rodgers' eccentric personality, but said talent outweighs culture. In his mind, Rodgers is still miles ahead of what we've got. And with a team that hasn't won a playoff game in almost a decade, beggars can't be choosers. It's hard to argue with that logic. Here's another angle worth considering. Rodgers may not be the long-term answer, but what if he's the bridge? Back when the Packers drafted Jordan Love, Rodgers didn't throw a fit, at least not directly at Love. In fact, Love recently said, "I learned a lot. Watching how he practiced, how he prepared, how he led, it was valuable." If Rodgers can spend a year mentoring Will Howard, giving the rookie time to absorb, learn, and grow, that could pay major dividends in the future. Most 6th-round QBs don't make it, but with Rodgers guiding him, who knows? Let's say the worst happens. Rodgers signs, the Steelers still struggle, and he leaves after a mediocre season. Big picture? It's not the end of the world. The team can trade up in the 2026 draft, go get their franchise guy, and move on. And in the meantime, they'll have bought time to develop Howard, see what they've got in the building, and maybe even make a playoff push. It's a short-term gamble, sure, but one that might be necessary. Let's go back in time real quick. The year was 2019. Ben Roethlisberger went down with a season-ending elbow injury, and the Steelers, refusing to fold, made a massive move. trading their 2020 first-round pick to the Dolphins for safety Minkah Fitzpatrick. And you know what? That move paid off. Fitzpatrick became a defensive playmaker almost immediately. He was a turnover machine, a leader in the secondary, and a cornerstone of what Mike Tomlin was building. Fast forward to now, and suddenly that foundation feels shaky. Since the start of the 2023 season, Fitzpatrick has only recorded one interception. One. For a guy once considered among the NFL's top defenders, that's a concerning drop in production. Steelers fans have noticed, and now insiders are starting to sound the alarm. Veteran Steelers insider Jerry Dulac took to a fan Q&A recently, and when asked about contract extensions for key defenders, he had this to say. They will try to extend Watt. Minkah not on that list yet. That's huge. Fitzpatrick's contract runs through 2026, so it's not like he's hitting free agency tomorrow. But when a guy is not even being considered for an extension while his performance is declining, that's a serious red flag. And don't forget, the team isn't exactly loaded at the safety position. If Fitzpatrick isn't in the long-term plans, then what's next? Draft another safety? Move a cornerback? Spend in free agency when that money could go to fixing the offense? Big year or big changes? Here's the reality. 2025 is going to be a make-or-break season for Minkah Fitzpatrick. If he bounces back and plays like the elite safety we saw in 2020 and 2021, he could cash in one more time, maybe even stay in Pittsburgh. But if the struggles continue, don't be surprised if the Steelers explore a trade before the 2026 offseason. And for fans hoping for that Fitzpatrick resurgence, we've got to be honest, the odds are stacked against him. NFL safeties are judged on splash plays, picks, forced fumbles, game-changing hits. And right now, Minkah isn't making enough of those. Some of that may be the scheme, but at the end of the day, top-tier players find a way to make an impact. Should the Steelers move on sooner? Here's where it gets even more interesting. The Steelers desperately need to improve on offense. You guys know the numbers. Bottom third in scoring, unreliable quarterback play, and a revolving door of offensive coordinators. If Fitzpatrick isn't making plays, it might make sense to reallocate that money toward boosting the offense. Maybe that means extending a wide receiver. Maybe that means going big on a veteran offensive lineman. Either way, Pittsburgh can't. Keep pouring top dollars into the defense while the offense flounders. This is a franchise that's won 6 Super Bowls by being balanced. Right now, the scales are off. Meanwhile, T.J. Watt's contract looms large. And speaking of defense, we can't ignore what's happening with T.J. Watt. Steelers, OTAs are in full swing. And guess who isn't there? That's right, number 90, the face of this defense, the defensive player of the year. The future Hall of Famer. His absence isn't a surprise. It's all tied to contract negotiations. But what makes this even more spicy is what J.J. Watt said on the Pat McAfee show this week. Taking care of your guys earlier locks them in at a better price. If you can take care of your guys earlier, you should do that. He didn't directly call out the Steelers, but let's be honest, he didn't have to. The message was clear. You should have paid TJ already. Now the Steelers are stuck. Myles Garrett just signed a record-breaking deal worth north of $40 million per year, and you better believe Watt's camp is looking at that number. The delay is costing the team leverage, and more importantly, it's creating a distraction during what should be a critical off-season of development. Where does this leave the Steelers? Let's tie it all together. Minkah Fitzpatrick is quietly sliding down the priority list, and maybe playing for his Pittsburgh future in 2025. T.J. Watt is watching the clock tick, and so are the fans. And the offense still lacks clear direction, demanding more investment from the front office. This team is at a crossroads, Steelers Nation, so now it's your turn, Steelers Nation. Is Aaron Rodgers a culture mismatch in Pittsburgh or a necessary move to save this quarterback room? Do you side with Bradshaw and Florio, who say this would go against everything the Steelers stand for? Or do you agree with Stephen A., who says talent wins and Rodgers still has some left in the tank? Let us know in the comments. I want to hear what you think, and trust me, the front office is feeling this pressure too. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next update. We've got OTAs, trade rumors, and Rodgers watch heating up, and you'll hear it all here first. Until next time, here we go, Steelers.